I did not know that. Tammy Jones. She told me. Look, you can come whenever you want.
No, no, I'm telling you, Lindsay is going in the morning to go to the school.
I can tell. We're here.
Healing there.
Oh, you got me. Okay.
This isn't necessarily, but she has to.
Good evening, everyone. May we have your attention? Thank you for being here. We would like to call our open session to order at 6:31. Madam Secretary, for attendance, would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Costick, Mrs. Murray, Mr. Ivory, Mrs. Rose,
Here.
Mrs. Ross, Dr. Wilson,
Here.
President McConnell.
Here.
We have 5 present.
All right, thank you. Announcements.
Friday Night Lights begin this Friday at 7 p.m. Come support your favorite Peoria football teams. Our Peoria Lions will face Centennial High School at Peoria Stadium at 7 p.m. Richwoods Knights face Normal Community at home at 7 p.m. Manual Rams are away this week against U High in Normal at 7 p.m. We are excited to announce Reservoir Gifted Academy has 6 students participating in IESA Golf Sectionals on Wednesday, September 4th. Let's cheer them on and hope for a team of 4 going to state on September 13th.
Thank you. I forgot the Pledge of Allegiance. May we stand, please? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Now we will continue with our announcements. Mrs. Costick.
SIP Day. The first school improvement day of 2024-25 school year will be Wednesday, August the 28th. There will be half-day dismissals at 11:30 a.m. for all schools, and Valeska Hinton Early Childhood Education will be closed. Immunizations and physicals. Immunizations and physicals are due by October the 15th, 2024 for all pre-K, kindergarten, 6th, 9th, and 12th grade students. Please visit www.psd150.org/backtoschool for more information. Thank you.
PTO Council Meeting. PPS first PTO Council Meeting is Tuesday, August 27th, from 6 to 8 p.m. This is an opportunity for all the school PTOs to come together and brainstorm ideas on how to be the best PTO ever. Parent University. Mark your calendars for the first Parent University of 2024-25 school year. Join us on September 12th from 5 to 7 p.m. at all 3 high schools for an exciting back-to-school celebration. Do not miss this chance to kick off the year with a fun and informational event.
Good evening. Attendance matters. Remember, the road to success is always under construction, and it starts in the classroom. Don't miss a day of school. Did you know that students who miss more than 2 days a month are classified as chronic absentees? Alarmingly, these students are 7 times more likely to drop out of high school. Every day truly matters. Students have to show up to glow up. Bus accident follow-up. Our community has shown incredible support following last Thursday's bus accident. Regional Office of Education Superintendent Kreider, a pet therapist, and John Morris from the Peoria Riverfront Museum have offered their kindness and assistance. The pet therapist visited the first grade classrooms involved, and John Morris provided all students with a free family museum pass and shark-headed stress balls. The students enjoyed a successful trip to the museum today, thanks to our transportation department and the Riverfront Museum. Yeah, is it okay? So my son was personally on the bus, and so it it warms my heart to be able to read this to you because I know that the pet therapist visited the first grade classrooms because I got to hear about it from my first grader. And I got a sweet photo of them all being eaten by a shark at the museum today. And they really did have a wonderful time. And so it is nice to see the follow through on that. And yeah, they were treated very, like the red carpet was rolled out for these first graders. So way to go, PPS.
Peoria Public School will host a fall intersession October 7th through the 18th during fall break. This year, we are looking for organizations within the Peoria area who are interested in hosting engaging opportunities for our pre-K through 8th grade students during this time. If your organization is interested in partnering with Peoria Public Schools, please call us at 309-672-6776. Dr. Karat will be hosting the Superintendent's Roundtable on Wednesday, August 28th from 12:30 to 2 o'clock p.m. at the Administration Building. Students from different schools are invited to hear a presentation about the inside of the entertainment business and tips for leading healthy and purposeful lives. Students will also participate in discussions focused on resume writing and other tips for success.
Thank you. Progress reports. Grading period number 1 will end on Friday, August 30th. Parents, keep your eyes out for the notices and the progress reports for your students, which will be sent home on Wednesday, September the 4th. And Labor Day. All schools and offices will be closed on Monday, September 2nd in observance of Labor Day. School will resume on Tuesday, September 3rd. Thank you. Next on our item is awards and recognitions. Dr. Karat. So we don't have any recognitions today. Okay, do we have any presentations from the audience? Did we get any cards? Oh, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so we will have the district presentations at this time. Thank you. Mr. Collins.
All right, thank you. President McConnell, Vice President Dr. Wilson, board members, Dr. Karat, thank you for having us. I'm here this evening just to give a slight background before I introduce these gentlemen. Through various meetings and different things that I've gone through, discussing different EV options, EV charging, other opportunities that might be available to the district. I was introduced to to Michael Pittman with Ameren to discuss the carbon neutral, the public school carbon free assessment program. That started a series of conversations with Mr. Pittman. And I don't want to steal his thunder, so I want to introduce Michael Pittman, Adam Fields, and Chad Whitehead. Come on up. They have a presentation for you to kind of run through the assessment that was done by Ameren for Peoria Public Schools, and this was done for us at no charge.
Mr. Collins, can you explain to the audience what EV stands for?
EV, electric vehicle, so electric vehicle charging, different things. Sure.
Thank you. Thank you for having us. Thank you for your time. I wanted to just start out by expressing our gratitude to the Peoria District. The Public School Carbon-Free Assessment Program is kind of a passion project of mine at Ameren's. When it was created out of the CEJA legislation in 2021, it was a project that I asked for. It was also a project that I wanted to see be successful. So in addition to the Peoria School District being our largest school district in the Ameren service territory, you're also our first district to get this assessment done once we rolled out our first program. Your entire staff, especially Mr. Collins and Mr. Bell, who we worked extensively with, were very helpful, made the process of rolling this out very easy. So extend my greatest gratitude to the school district for all of that. So what is the Carbon-Free Assessment Program? It was created, like I said, out of the CEJA legislation in 2021, and it said that Ameren had to go to every public school district in its territory and provide them a roadmap to being carbon neutral in their energy usage by 2030. So Ameren assembled a team of subject matter experts who could look at all the different aspects of the school for decarbonization. And we put together a comprehensive report. I think the report for your district was about 900 pages, 800 pages long, with a roadmap to the decarbonization. It was delivered to the district earlier this summer, and a copy of the assessment report after presenting to you all is going to be made available to the Illinois Power Agency and the Capital Development Board as directed by the legislation. I don't want to steal my team's thunder, who came out and did all of the work, so I'm going to introduce Adam Fields, who's our program manager, and let him talk to you about what the assessment did.
Thanks, Michael. Again, thank you for having us here. We really appreciate your time. So the carbon-free assessment program, I work for a company called Leidos. We're a consulting company that works with Ameren, Illinois, and we are just focused on this one program here to make it the best it can be. So if you can see on the screen up there, there's 6 categories. These are the 6 categories that the legislation required that we address in every single report. We looked at 34 buildings within PPS, and we performed these tasks on all 34 buildings. So it was quite an undertaking. But if we go to the next slide, I'll show you a little bit about some of these here. So just some high-level numbers here you can see. Again, it is a 23-page executive summary and a 900-plus page full report. So there's a lot going on here. So we have some highlights here for you guys, including the number of vehicles that can be electrified through the infrastructure analysis that we did. The amount of savings is up there. The number of therms just in building envelope and insulation. And then at the bottom there, you'll see the 21 measures to help improve the health and safety of students and staff. That is an important part of this report, the WELL Health and Safety Rating. So just some high-level numbers there throughout all the tasks that we have. This is an example of one of the solar analyses that we did. This is Richwoods. You can see there, we look at different parking lot areas, different roof areas. We looked at available space where solar might be an option. We do a lot of analysis in those appendices in the report, and we crunch the numbers here. So we did find that if all of our recommended solar installations were implemented, the district as a whole would achieve net zero. That's a lot of solar, but it is possible to achieve a net zero with the space that you have available. This is just a quick example of our mechanical insulation and building envelope. You can see there, we went through every single facility, looking at the way that the pipes and the HVAC systems are insulated, the valves, the joints where they come together. Also, you see over there on the right, the doors, the windows. This was done in all of the facilities. And so that's the largest portion of that report is the walkthrough. These are items here that can have immense monetary savings for sealing up the building and reducing the amount of heat that is transferred or escapes. So we have a large roadmap for you guys, a nice thorough handout of what there is to look at. But a lot of this starts with energy efficiency. You might have heard that term before. Ameren, Illinois is a very active energy efficiency program. Behind me you see Chad Whitehead. He's the energy efficiency advisor for the Peoria area. Really the easiest first step after this report is to look at what we call the EE, energy efficiency measures. What that does is they will reduce your demand. You're demanding less power. Therefore, that can help you with a number of things financially and with the way you manage your power internally. Just for getting the report done, we do have a little bonus for an EE program as a thank you for the time spent along here. If we go to the next slide here, you'll see this is in the executive summary. I know it's hard to read, but it's a top 20 of the easiest things the school can do to start saving power right away. Some of these things are walk down the hallway and change a dial kind of things. We have a report similar to this for all 34 buildings. You can see exactly what we found, where you can save money just being more efficient with the equipment that you have or new equipment. I do want to make sure that we know that Chad has worked with Brandon Bell before in our programs, because Ameren, Illinois has a lot of incentives available for these measures. So not only are we identifying for you for free, we are also able to help incentivize actually getting the measures done through Ameren, Illinois program. So Chad, do you have anything to say real quick?
Thanks again for your time. Thank you, Adam and Michael and Mr. Collins. Again, I've worked with Brandon Bell in the past, and I would just say, much like President McConnell said, what does EV mean? That's my job, is to help the Brandon and the other staff get to this list on the wall and help you develop a strategy, if you will, on the ways you want to tackle the opportunity here. And I'm a phone call and email away to help facilitate that conversation. So, and again, just thanks for your time.
Thanks, Chad. Thanks, Adam. So one of the last things we want to talk about is one of the first questions I always got when I tell people that we were designing this program is, okay, it's an assessment program. What happens once it's done? And so obviously our first recommendation is to work with an energy efficiency team. It's the lowest cost option for many measures, and it's going to provide the quickest payback for your school district. But one of the things that we also wanted to help school districts with is we know that it's hard to find funding opportunities, especially as it comes to energy. So this website that we've created up there, it's AmeronIllinoisSavings.com/PSCFA resources. That is it's updated monthly, and it is a list of every grant program, every incentive program, every opportunity for school districts to receive help with anything energy that we are able to locate as an Ameren company. If it is a grant program, it's providing links to it. We have EV section, we have an electrification for HVAC section, and it's constantly updated, and it will provide links to your school district for ways to just continue to save money after the assessment and help pay for the measures that we've implemented. So we didn't want to take too much of your time this evening. We know it's a busy school board meeting, but we wanted to open it up for questions if anyone from the school board had them.
Yes. Yes, Ms. Ross.
Good evening, thank you for coming. I would ask, have you been working with we are under, right now, putting together a master facilities plan on all of our facilities? Are you working directly with IDG, who is doing that master facilities plan?
We have just finished the assessment program. We are open to working with anyone. Of course, I know we've got continuing discussions that are going to be with your team. It's certainly something that I think Ameren would like to be a part of to help make sure, as you do your infrastructure plan, that anything energy that we can help you with is there.
Okay, I just want to make sure that we are interfacing with what's already going on with buildings and facilities.
Some of the buildings, yes. We'll follow up with that one.
You have a question?
No, not really a question. Just want to say I appreciate the time that it took for checking out, those buildings and looking into that. Just appreciate it.
Thank you very much. We were so excited to get out to this district. So again, my gratitude to you all.
And then I just want to know, is there any way that the board could actually get a copy of your PowerPoint so that we could look at it in a little more detail?
Certainly. Yeah, we can provide that.
Okay. Oh, and thank you.
Thank you very much. Have a good evening.
Thanks for being here. And Josh, thank you for your time.
Thank you very much. And I have that information. I'll have the PowerPoint and the whole report, all of that available if you want to see that.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, do we have any other district presentations? Okay, that was it. Okay, presentation from the audience. You may address the board for 5 minutes, and we only allow 20 minutes per topic. And tonight, we are honored to have Miss Melinda Hunt to come share with us.
Hi, I'm Melinda Hunt. I've been a part of the district for 28 years. I've raised my fourth child going through the district. 20 of those years I've been involved with the special ed department. I'm coming tonight to speak to you about the need for an autism public school in the district. I feel the services for children on the autism spectrum who are high functioning are seriously lacking in the district. These children don't look any different on the outside than other children, and that creates a unique set of issues for them. Both of my children, my 25-year-old is on the spectrum, and my 14-year-old that's here tonight is on the spectrum also. The district mission is to ensure each student's academic achievements and personal success through personalized learning, social emotional support, and educational equity. This is nowhere near what my grandson is experiencing in the district right now. His major issue is with his inability to communicate effectively in the heat of the moment. He has a very strong fight or flight instinct. Unfortunately, neither of these options are valid within the school. Therefore, he ends up in trouble and suspended because the adults fail to intervene until it's too late. The most recent example of this is last Thursday. He was in gym, which there was supposed to be a plan in place day one that he was not to be in gym because gym is a trigger for him, and it has not happened. So he was not in his alternative environment. He was in gym. They were sitting along the sidelines, which is mostly what they do. That's mostly what the gym teacher has them do. Another student started bullying him. He got up and walked away and started pacing, which is a huge tell for him. The aide who was in the room with him leaned over and spoke to the other student. He never talked to my grandson or tried to remove him from the situation. My grandson then came back, threw a cone at the other student. The situation escalated until my grandson ran out of the school. I found him over on the sidewalk on Abington, so he had jumped 2 fences to get from Lincoln all the way over to Abington. I had just happened to be there picking him up for his psychologist appointment at the time this was all going on. This happens because the staff are not properly trained to see the signs and redirect or remove him from the trigger. He knows the steps when he is not in the heat of the moment, but in the heat of the moment, he needs redirection from a staff member. And like I said, the aide there just totally ignored the situation. In the past 4 years, he's been allowed to sleep in a tent in the office for hours or even all day. He has been physically and emotionally abused by several teachers and many students. IEP accommodations have been denied or ignored. He was removed from mainstream and put into the ED program due to the boundary waiver being removed because of the discipline issues created by his disability. He was then proceeded in 6th grade at Lincoln. He was then moved to 7th grade. There was an issue with the 7th grade teacher. They could not staff that classroom properly. They had a series of aides up until like March of that year. So he was put back in the 5th and 6th grade classroom with the teacher he felt that he had a relationship with and more comfortable with. But due to the lack of staffing in that room, she was short 2 to 3 people every day as a staffing issue, that she spent most of her day controlling behaviors rather than educating the kids in that class. So they all just fell further behind. He is in 8th grade, needs to be prepared for high school. At this point, he is totally unprepared. This year we've got a different program for him where he's doing most of his work on computers with supervision of the school teacher. His teacher was not available on the first day of school, so he did not get his permanent teacher till almost 4 weeks into the school year. So that was, his year got off to a very bad start this year. It was a sub that he was familiar with and had issues with, and an aide in the room that yelled at him constantly. So he's very bright, and he would not be struggling so far academically if he were given the appropriate staffing and tools to teach children in a more autism-friendly environment. I've tried multiple times in multiple ways to get these issues addressed. I have attended meetings and been promised changes that never come. Go on. Okay.
Yeah, you're free to go.
The last meeting, everything was turned around to where it was my grandson's fault because he wasn't speaking up and saying stuff instead of the adults in the room taking responsibility. Because in his current classroom, there are 6 teachers and 3 teachers and 6 kids. So it's a very good classroom ratio that stuff should not be being missed as much as it is in his room. I know the school is trying, but they are not being given the proper tools, staffing, or environment. As a result of all this, my grandson fights going to school every day. We have had to increase his psychologist visits to every week instead of every other week, and he's crying himself to sleep at night. I'm tired of my grandson being held to a higher standard than the adults who are supposed to be helping him. This is what happens when you have untrained, non-certified staff working with children with special needs. This completely violates his right to a free and appropriate public education, as well as violating the district's mission. If this is going to happen to someone who has a strong advocate, what's happening to the children who don't have an advocate? There are enough children on the spectrum in the district to justify the need for a school, or at very least classrooms in schools with properly trained and certified staff, not just throwing them into ED classrooms. Autism is not an emotional disturbance, but a neurodevelopmental disorder, which presents differently in every child. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. That is why properly trained staff and appropriate tools are absolutely necessary.
All
Thank
right.
you.
I want to thank you. You want to say anything?
Thank you, Ms. Hunt, for sharing your experiences with us. I do see Dr. Bond out in the audience, who is over all of, the autistic program as well, and we have weekly conversations about that in your weekly update. So I would love for you to have a conversation with Grandma for me, please, and let's see if we could put our heads together. I know we can problem solve and put a successful plan together for him, and I'll follow up as well.
Not just for him, but for all the kids. Because if it's affecting him, it's affecting other students too.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, President
All right.
McConnell.
Thank you for being here with us and sharing that. And then if you will, follow up with Dr. Bond and the school principal too. All right, thank you. May we get a motion to approve minutes from August 12th meeting, 2024? Okay, Madam Secretary for the roll.
Mrs. Costick? Aye. Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross? Dr. Wilson?
Aye.
President McConnell?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Information items, superintendent update.
Thank you,
School
President.
opening highlights.
Yep, thank you, President McConnell. I'll be brief. You should have gotten the notification on Friday, I believe, regarding the repurposing of the 2 Quest buildings. So there are 2 committees. I'll keep you updated. Individuals have been identified, and they will be getting to work ASAP. We're looking at repurposing and getting the building ready for the 25-26 school year. So stay tuned regarding the outcomes of those 2 committees. And I just really wanted to thank principals and administrators and our teachers as well. I would say we're off to a great start. We've heard one of the best ever. And so, I get weekly updates from our executive directors every week, and I do read them, and they're bragging on their schools, and because they get updates from their schools as well. And it was just really nice to see, the work that the principals are doing. They're working so hard. An overarching theme over the weekend was they're proud of the attendance, the work they're doing around attendance. Some of them had 96% attendance, 97% attendance. Some schools, I think Keller and Northmore, they have a competition going. I think CT Vivian had, were they 97% attendance as well, or 96%? I remember reading that from yours. And they're focused on chronic absenteeism and just working with families, and teachers are calling as well, and working with families to get the children to school so that they can have an impact on them. So I was very, very proud and it was like in everyone's, from Tree Winds to Lee's Fort Allens to Von Steuben's, just across the board, across the system, they're just doing such a nice job around attendance, getting into classrooms, providing as much supports. The executive directors, you guys are doing a really great job as well. Dr. Coleman, Ms. Brooks, Dr. Corey Molson, and we have Robin, who joined us from Quest. She does grant writing for us. She's actually submitted some big grants already, and she'll go to Richwoods to check in. She's monitoring how Quest children are doing and students are doing, and so I really like that. I can't wait to get an update on that. And then working with Mr. Spike as well, Mr. Spiker, Mr. Thomas. I feel good about the work that we're doing as a district. Dr. Bond, of course, I can't forget Dr. Bond. Don't forget to meet with Grandma Hunt for me, please. And just wanted to thank you guys, Ms. Donath. This team, our teachers, our leaders, understand the work at hand. We're an urban district. We're serving everybody. It's very challenging work, but it's fun work. I just love that, during our convocation, someone said it's not the dog in the fight, but the fight in the dog. And when you guys are going after improving student achievement and providing supports, I can see that fight and that passion and just that love for Peoria Public Schools. And I just wanted to say thank you, and let's keep up the good work. We still have a long way to go, and we just started, right? But thank you, everyone. Thank you, President McConnell.
Proposed expenditures over 2,500 and report of the Freedom of Information Act status.
Mr. Willis, you want to go, and then I'll go after you?
Sure.
Proposed expenditures over 2,500.
If anybody has any questions, I'd be happy to entertain those. In addition to that, I've got the financial report, which I handed out at your places, which kind of ties into the expenditures. And year to date on revenue, we are at 14.8 million. On expenditures, we are at 24.8 million. Receipts in August were 9.3 million, so we're about 5 million up on receipts. That's primarily state aid. On expenses, we were at 24.8 million, and August 12th, we reported 17.6 million. That's primarily payroll, salary and benefits that made up the difference there. I'd be happy to answer any questions that you might have with respect to overall financial report and any expenditures that were proposed over 2,500.
Any questions? Okay.
President McConnell, then the next item that you referenced was the FOIA information, Freedom of Information Act. Since our board meeting report on August 12th, we received 5 new requests, and there was 1 pending request on August 12th. And of that, one request remains open. So there is 1 request currently opened. So to date, we have received 35 requests at a total cost of $1,750. Thank you.
Thank you. Consent agenda.
Yes, thank you, President
Dr.
McConnell.
Wilson.
The consent agenda consists of the following items. Item number 1, gifts to school district. Year to date, $124,309.52. Item number 2, payment of bills. Item number 3, payment for travel. Item number 4, human resource report. Item number 5, Richwood Senior IB out-of-state trip. Item number 6, Manual football team overnight trip. Item number 7, Manual band out-of-state trip. And item number 8, approval of school improvement plans for 2024-2025. And that is the entirety of the consent agenda.
Okay, board, what is your pleasure? Motion to approve?
So moved.
Yes, you have a question?
Yes, where the, number 8, school improvement plan. Are those in the document? How do we know? They used to get
We talked about it. It's a very, very thick document. It's available at the front desk. We would be happy to get a copy to you or any board member who's interested in receiving a copy. How many of you would like a copy?
I need a copy. Is it online?
It is not online. It's a hard copy. It's a hard copy. I should have brought it with me. I have a copy as well. I told them to run one copy in case anybody wanted, but we have it at the front desk, just like we do with the financial budget, the budget. So anyone who wants one there's one at the front desk that you can have access to. And if you really insist, I'll be happy to give you a copy.
I'm not gonna really insist, but I would like to know what we're asked to vote.
Yeah. So, yep, so those are actually annual plans that the board approves. And it is created with Illinois State, a representative from Illinois State Board of Education and the principal. And it's really looking at their data. And they have a leadership team. And it's about the things that the schools are going to do to improve either their designations or improve their scores. And actually, the board will, thank you, Ms. Ross, for asking, because the board will be involved. There will be training for the board from Illinois State Board of Education. It was supposed to be this month, but I think they're running behind schedule. So I think it might be sometime in January. But the board will be trained and you'll have access. You'll be trained on all of those individual school improvement plan. Every school has a plan. And it's about their data, it's about their attendance data, their discipline data, their achievement data, and the steps that they, 4 or 5 things that they've identified to improve. It's the work. I'll make sure you get a copy of everybody's school improvement plan, Ms. Ross. And then the board again will have access to that because we have some intensive schools and some comprehensive schools and some targeted schools. And as a result of that, they will be training for our board. That's something new that Illinois State Board of Education is doing this year. Okay.
How connected to our, plan, the report card. So school improvement plans are supposed to be directly related to the report card.
The school report cards are as a result of the progress of the school improvement plan, which is also aligned with our strategic plan. So everything is very much aligned, and I have seen them. I actually, along with the executive director, I know Ms. Brooks, for example, you're with Dr. Combs, you're with Mr. Brown on those meetings. I'll pop in, we'll ask questions, we'll look at it together. But they're just providing feedback on the plans that the administration at the school and the teachers at the schools agree that it's all different, it's all customized for that building that they've agreed that they're going to implement to improve their school report card. So there's a lot of things like attendance, for example, chronic absenteeism, and those are also things that we are graded on the report card. The IAR, increase in proficiencies, what they're going to do about that. Proficiency for ELA, proficiency for mathematics. What else, Ms. Brooks? Social emotional, a lot of social emotional. Although they are very similar, yet they're very different based on the demographics of that school and where they are. And they've done a very nice job. I'm very proud of them. I have seen every one of them, and I've sat in on those meetings with the principals and with Illinois State Board of Education. And so I think you'll be very proud of it, and I think it's a fair question. I'll be happy to get that for you. I'll give you a copy of.
I would
of
just
it.
think that anything you want us to vote on, we should know about and be able to speak intelligently about that.
Sure. It's fair. Thank you. Would you like a copy?
Well, no, I'm happy to come into the office, but should we wait to?
No.
Okay.
It's an annual
Okay.
approval, so yep, it won't change. Thank you.
Okay, motion on the floor. Do we have any other questions? Madam Secretary, will you call the roll?
Mrs. Costick? Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
Dr. Wilson?
Aye.
President McConnell?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Deliberation, a agenda from Policy Committee.
Yes, I'm sorry. Yeah. Okay. Deliberation agenda, item number 9, policy number 2:270. Discrimination and harassment on the basis of race, color, and national origin prohibited. I'll read proposed action. Proposed action, that the Board of Education approve the attached new policy.
Second. Madam Secretary, call the roll.
Mrs. Costick? Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
Dr. Wilson?
Aye.
President McConnell?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, motion carries.
Item number 10, policy number 6:20, school year calendar and day. Proposed action that the Board of Education approve the attached updated policy.
Second. Any
Mrs.
questions? Madam Secretary, for the roll.
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
Dr. Wilson?
Aye.
President McConnell?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, motion carries.
Item number 11, policy number 6:140, education of homeless children. Proposed action that the Board of Education approve the attached updated policy.
Second. Madam Secretary, for the roll.
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
Dr. Wilson?
Aye.
President McConnell?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, motion carries.
Item number 12, expulsion with the expulsion to be held in abeyance. Proposed action that the Board of Education approve expulsion with the expulsion held in abeyance listed on the report dated August 26, 2024 be approved as presented.
I think that was the team is right here.
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Second, Madam Secretary, may you call the roll?
Mrs. Costick?
Aye.
Mrs. Rose?
Aye.
Mrs. Ross?
Aye.
Dr. Wilson?
Aye.
President McConnell?
Aye.
We have 5 ayes, motion carries.
Thank you. Any presentations or suggestions by any board members? Any reports from the board committees?
Yes. Oh, Ms. Costick.
Thank you. The Building and Grounds Committee will meet on September 3rd at 10 o'clock.
And the policy committee will meet on September 18th at 5:00 p.m. Here at the district office.
The Behavioral Intervention Committee is scheduled to meet Thursday, September 5th at 4:30. And I'm still working on the Parent-Teacher Advisory Committee, but I will get you that date as soon as possible. Thank you to the Policy Committee for the updated policies and the new policy that was needed. And then also, can I give Manual a shout out for their virtual welding program, which is really cool. So I just want to shout it out. If you haven't seen it, you should try to see it because it is really cool.
All right. Are there any other notifications from anyone? Motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you.